On today's episode of Philosophical Tuesday, we'll discuss the final school of thought of philosophy, which is existentialism. Existentialism is a philosophical movement that places individual human experience, freedom, and personal responsibility at the center of inquiry. It emerged as a response to traditional philosophies that sought to explain life through abstract theories or universal laws. The core tenets of existentialism. The movement is defined by several foundational concepts. Existence precedes essence. Popularized by Jean-Paul Sartre, this principle asserts that humans are not born with a preset purpose or nature. Instead, they first exist and then define who they are through their actions and choices. Radical freedom and responsibility. Existentialists believe individuals are condemned to be free, meaning they have total autonomy to make choices, but must also accept full responsibility for the consequences of their choices. The absurd. This term describes the inherent tension between the human desire for meaning and the silent, indifferent universe that provides none. Albert Camus famously argued that one should acknowledge this absurdity without falling into despair. Authenticity. A central virtue in existentialism. Authenticity involves living true to oneself and one's own value rather than conforming to societal pressures or external expectations. Angst. This is the emotional realization of one's absolute freedom and the heavy burden of responsibility that accompanies it. Soren Kierkegaard described it as the dizziness of freedom. Key figures. Soren Kierkegaard, often considered the father of existentialism, he emphasized subjective truth and the leap of faith required in individual religious commitment. Friedrich Nietzsche contributed the idea of creating one's own values in a world where traditional religious frameworks have lost their authority. Jean-Paul Sartre, the primary systemizer of the movement, focusing on radical freedom, self-definition through action, and atheistic existentialism. Simone de Beauvoir applied existentialist principles to ethics and feminism, most notably in The Second Sex, where she argued that womanhood is a socially constructed status individuals become rather than are born into. Albert Camus explored the concept of absurd and how individuals can find joy and purpose through rebellion against a meaningless world, a broader impact of existentialism. Beyond pure philosophy, existentialism has significantly influenced literature. Themes of alienation and absurdity appear in the works of Franz Kafka, Fyodor Dostoevsky, and Samuel Beckett. Psychology. It led to the development of existential therapy, which focuses on helping individuals confront the givings of existence, death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness to live more authentically. Thank you, and stay tuned on the next episode of Philosophical Tuesday.